Family, what's up? Let me get set up over here real quick. What's up? What's up? Who tapping in with me on tonight? Who's tapping in and where are you tapping in from? If you're joining me from YouTube, put that in the chat. If you're joining me on Facebook, put that in the chat. Let me see who's tapping in with me. I know there's a lot of people, spending time with their family and loved ones and all that good stuff. Um, but I want to see who's tapping in with me on tonight. I'm going to let y'all in a little bit on Dr. T. Who is Dr. T? Who is Dr. T? And I want to, I guess I'll do a little bit of storytelling, expedited version of storytelling. All right, Bless. I see you on YouTube from Houston, Texas. In the house, represent. What's up, Instagram? What's going on, beautiful people? I'm not going to be here long whatsoever. But I do want to know how y'all doing. I do want to check in and see how my family doing. How y'all hanging in here, Anything you need to bring to the table, anything you need prayer for, your girl is here, okay? What's up, brother Elijah? I see you. You and sis, tell sis I said hey. Hey, Sister Crystal. What's going on, beautiful? I'm glad you popped on. I'm doing okay. Awesome. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Making sure everybody is doing well. There are lots of people fighting lots of battles, okay? And I want to make sure that if you are fighting a battle, that you know that you are not fighting a battle alone and that you too defeated to be defeated, okay? I want to say that first and foremost. But I'm here to do what it is that I'm here to do. I don't know if y'all know this or not, as strong as I am, as bold as I am, as courageous as I am, there's some spots that are still painful. And I'm a very open and transparent person. My life is a book. I share things when I feel led or inspired to share things. And that's what I'm here for on tonight. Prayer always for my family and my youngest daughter. Pray that she will be able to walk again. I absolutely stand in agreement with your prayer, okay? I will continue to pray for you and your daughter, and I will continue to believe that your baby gonna walk again by faith. Even though we don't see it, doesn't mean that it's not done. We walk by what we don't see. So I'm standing with you 10 toes down, sister, and we're gonna see that baby walk. And just remember, when it happens, please come back and holler at your girl so we can rejoice together, okay? That is my only request. But I absolutely stand in 1000% agreement with you for your prayer. Nevertheless, being transparent sometimes opens up things. And I've been really feeling led to just let y'all know who I am. There's a lot of you that just started following me. It's like, wow, I rock with Dr. T. I love Dr. T. But you don't really know a lot about Dr. T. Spiritually, you feel the connection. True. But you don't know a lot about Dr. T. So that's what I'm here for on tonight, to let y'all know. And if you see me looking back and forth, I'm not crazy. I got other cameras rolling at this present time, okay? Nevertheless, give y'all a little bit of background about who I am, where I come from, so that you understand my why I keep showing up, why I do what it is that I do. And hopefully in me sharing my why, it will encourage, inspire, motivate you to do what you purpose to do. Okay, that's my whole entire point here on tonight. Is that whatever part of my story, may you get the glory for it. May my life be a blessing to others, a lesson to some. You know, encouragement. You know, inspiration. However you want to use me, Father, see fit to use me. And tonight I'm gonna share a little bit about where I come from, so that way you understand where I'm going. In our community, especially as minorities, we have been taught to hide things in the closet, sweep things under the rug, just move on, don't tell nobody that. And so we are learning how to not get past or get through trauma, but we're actually learning how to grow with trauma. And that is so destructive for us as men, as women. I am a person who stands in like two generations. I can impact the elderly, I can impact the young, I can impact men, I can impact women. I can relate, you know. But we are taught to sweep things under the rug, and I was a person who was taught to sweep things under the rug. I was a person who was always told all my whole entire life, get over it. I didn't get apologies for a lot of the atrocities that happened to me, and that's where I'm going to start. I have written 2 books. I'm not here to sell my books tonight. Um, I don't even advertise my books, even though I've written 2 books. The enemy has attacked me in writing my books, meaning, excuse me, I did not graduate high school. So when I wrote my first book, and I'm getting into the story, but I got to touch on this part because I brought up the fact that I wrote 2 books about what I'm about to share with you guys, some of what I'm about to share with you guys on tonight. I did not graduate high school. I dropped out of high school to take care of my children that I was now um, forced into parenthood, adultship. Um, and so when I wrote this book, I kept feeling in my spirit, you need to write, you need to write. And I'm thinking, I don't want nobody in my business to know just how really troubled my past was. So I avoided writing the book. I made so many excuses, even though I kept feeling in my spirit to write the book. So I went to church one evening, and the apostle called me out and told me, God told you a long time ago to write a book, and you still haven't wrote a book. And so he prayed for me that night that I would obey what God said. And after he prayed for me, I went home. I typed this book for 3 days straight. Something come upon me and empowered me to type this book and not leave my computer for 3 days straight. And when I typed up the book, I didn't type it with no exclamation marks, no periods. Everything just ran on. Here's your story. Tired of you harassing me for it. You want me to be embarrassed. You want me to be mocked. Here's your book. And the publishing company that I went through to publish it, I mean, they really could care less if my book was a bestseller or if my book had, you know, what do you call them? If they needed edits, that's what I'll say. Because Satan, you ain't gonna take my words tonight. They didn't care about any of that. It's like you got a diamond package, a emerald package, a platinum package. Which one can you afford? I could only afford the diamond package, which came with no edits at all. It's like we're gonna go ahead and publish this book. This book was all over the world, literally. If you go type it in right now, you'll still see that this book is on Amazon. It was in Target. It was everywhere. And when I got a copy of the book after it was printed, You talking about somebody was embarrassed. I was absolutely ashamed, embarrassed. I wrote my first book in 2009, and it's 2022, and you ain't heard me make mention of that book whatsoever. I don't advertise it at all, but I have written it. I am an author. I wrote my second book in 2020. I wrote that book hemorrhaging, basically. Had my children at 6 months, and I was in the NICU and out of the NICU writing this book. This time I just knew I was going to, make it better. I didn't been back to college. I know all my points and dot all my I's, cross all my T's. However, instead of me writing it, I did a voice. It's called Dragon Dictation. So I put on a headset and I spoke out my book. And all I needed it to be done was for it to be edited. And so I hired a professional editor who was from a foreign country. She was Nigerian or either Jamaican. However, she edited my book according to how they talk. So when my own kids read the book, they was like, "Did you really say that?" And I noticed at that time that this could not be anybody but the enemy, because now I have two books that you told me to write. And when I got the book, I had pre-sold the book. I paid a lot of money to have it edited. I uploaded it. I did not double check all the punctuations, but the words how I spoke, because it's my book, was changed or edited to make it sound like it was a different person. So when I read the book, I was again very disheartened, and I was ashamed and embarrassed. And you ain't seen me promoting that book either. That was the enemy's weapon. Nevertheless, I'm going to get both of my books edited if I got to sit down and do them myself, even though I don't want to, because there is some painful parts in both of those books. Doesn't mean that I'm not healed. I have forgiven myself. I have forgiven those who have done things to me. Nevertheless, rereading that type of stuff, it's just, sometimes I don't even understand, like, how did I actually endure that? And I'm still clothed in my right mind. And I still have a heart to love. And I still care about people. And I'm strong, stronger than I've ever been. I don't even understand it. There is no explanation outside of but God. Because if I sat here and told y'all everything tonight, it would take all night. So I'm going to start with just the first portion and then bring you up to where I'm at here today and why I'm here. Because most people just think, oh, this is another woman out here trying to do business. No, ma'am. And no, sir. And you wouldn't really understand it unless you understood who I am and where I come from. My mother only had two children, my brother and myself. And to understand my story, I have to tell a little bit of her story. My mother was born to my grandmother at a very early age. My grandmother had my mother when she was 13. My grandmother experienced abuse in her home. Her mother died at a very young age. That was in the era where if you got pregnant, you got shipped off. You was not disgracing the family, any of that. So after my grandmother's mother passed away, and she was there with her strict father, of course, a older guy come by showing interest in her, and she's looking for love in all the wrong places. They ended up hooking up. She got pregnant with my mother and my mother's twin sister. However, my grandfather was not having it. On top of his abusiveness, he threw my grandmother out of the house. My grandmother slept in the cold, in the snow, um, for all of her pregnancy, outside of when my grandfather, which is my mother's dad, was living, because my mother's dad was a musician. And one night coming home from a gig, he crashed into a utility pole. And so after he died, my grandmother's mother died. I guess that was just a lot. She went into labor very early. My mother was born. Her twin sister was born, but she did not make it. And so that caused my grandmother to be very overprotective. Like, her sister was abused and murdered by a physical abuser. And she just experienced a lot of trauma. And so she projected that trauma that she did not get through or get over into her parenting skills. Her trauma became, um, the reason why my mom was like, no friends, no hanging out. You don't need none of that. I don't trust nobody. You go straight to school. You come home. I will buy you everything that you want and you need. She was my grandmother's only child. And my grandmother thought that buying her everything and giving her the world was everything. But, my mother did not get to experience a lot of things that other, kids was able to experience. She was embarrassed. If she went to school with her hair one way and got to that school and rearranged it, my grandmother would embarrass her own sight. Even as, um, even as a child going down to visit my granny would jump on my mother, beat her up in front of us really, really bad. And so my mother, she had us. Well, let me back up. My mother was raised in that environment. My grandmother was abused by my grandfather, and my mother got tired of it, so she left and she went to my place of birth, and she hooked up with my father. So she thinks she's leaving one situation to go into another situation. My father was cool in the beginning, became a womanizer, um, became a physical abuser, you know. And they had their situationships. My daddy loved women and has never been like committed fully to one woman. So that caused a lot of riffraff. My mother was back and forth between Los Angeles and Fresno, where my grandmother was in Fresno. She was running from a problem to run into another problem. And her form of having some type of control over her life, because my grandmother was so overprotective, was to go down to Fresno. And then she'd get there dealing with my daddy and his shenanigans. She would try to run back to Los Angeles. So in the meantime, in between time, my mother got pregnant with my brother, gave birth to my brother. She got pregnant with me. Um, while she was carrying me, her uterus was really thin. My father, my mother ended up doing something. I can't remember whether it was calling the police on my daddy or something. But while my mother was pregnant with me, he tried to run my mother over. He was like, I told you, don't ever come back to this city again. And she came back when she was like 8 months pregnant to see her daddy's people, because that's who lived in Fresno. Her father's people, his sisters and brothers, and his father. And so she went down there to see him. He tried to run her over. Um, and she went back to my grandmother, and then that situation down there with all that abuse was going on. So just back and forth. Eventually she went on down to LA after my dad did all of that, and had after she had me, she took us back to LA and let my grandmother help her raise us. She got herself together down there. About 1 to 2 years of age, one thing about me, when I was a small child, and even 43 years of age right now, I can remember still sucking from my mother's breast. Like, I was just a different kid, and I was a very wise kid. And so I remember like we had a good life. I remember like my grandmother taking us to do stuff, my mama working, we had our own place. It's just popping down there. But then my grandmother is like telling my mom how to raise us. And so my mom was like, wait a minute. You ran my life, and you ain't finna be running my kids' life. Because my grandma was like, my mom wanted to have company because my mom was living her best life. And my mother was having parties and all this type of stuff, having her, friends stuff come over from work. She worked at the Crystal, glass company. So they coming over and they partying and all this stuff. My grandmother's like, my grandkids ain't gonna be in this type of environment. So they clashing, you know what I'm saying? They having a clash. And my mother is like, look, I'm finna remove me and my kids from this situation because you're not gonna control us. And she took us down back to Fresno. Now, when we got there, we didn't have a place to stay. She had friends and stuff that she met in between her going back and forth. And they allowed us to, come over, and my mama, of course, hung out with them. They was partiers. They went out every weekend, literally. She's dropped a baby. She didn't just move from Los Angeles. She know all the latest dances because Los Angeles is way faster than Fresno. So she popping in the clubs and they going out. She hooking up, looking for love in all the wrong places. At that time, you know how, well, if you my age, when you went out with your girls, like they younger brothers or nephews or somebody was watching the kids, okay? And in us being watched, I ended up being molested very, very early, by supposedly family members. And because we didn't have really our own place to stay, when I brought it to my mother's attention and she said something about it, and and it was the people's relatives who we were staying with, they got into it big time. And I just remember feeling really, really guilty because we didn't have nowhere to stay. I remember to this day, like we were standing on the corner outside, and my mother said something to me that it's like your fast butt or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was something to that nature. And I just remember saying, like, I ain't gonna never ever say nothing else. I'm looking at my brother crying. We ain't got nowhere to sleep tonight. We miles and miles away from Los Angeles. I'm like, I want my granny. No, you ain't calling your grandma. You ain't calling her because they had a dispute going on. So um, I dealt with it. And then from there, we went to another place, and that place had like 5 boys, staying there. They touched me, and then I went to another place. It just seemed like wherever I went, somebody was touching me inappropriately. Everywhere that I went. As a young girl, you know, I developed a lot faster than some other girls in my age group. So it's like I was a magnet, especially for the things I got on my chest. I was like a magnet for boys and men to put their hands on me inappropriately. I actually have a scar on my face right here, from one of these little boys in an apartment complex. It was like the boys would go tell the other boys, like, she got boobs and I touched her. I'm walking around the complex coming home from school or something. I just got a gang of boys chasing me. So I'm running because I don't know what is going on and why they're chasing me at the rate that they're chasing me. And I'm running like this. And I don't know if you guys remember, if you're my age, then you do. Back then, the water hoses, we used to turn it on with that little, that little knob. And whenever that knob came off, you would use wire pliers to turn it on and turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. So this thing is sharp because we've been using wire pliers to turn it on, turn it off because the handle broke. And that's how we would hook up the water hose and get wet. So I'm running around the building and I'm running full speed ahead, and I slipped. And when I slipped, I fell on that water hose That thing that, we use the wire pliers went straight through my jaw. Terrified, you know. Um, and then my mom's like, "What happened to you?" I'm stuck on the thing like this, hollering, freaking out. I'm passing out, waking up, passing out. I see blood. I'm freaking out. Uh, I wanted to tell her, like, this boy, without calling his name, this boy and his group of boys is chasing me to do sexually explicit things to me, and that's how I, ended up running. But because we live with the people, I couldn't say that. So now I'm 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 a young child, and I'm learning how to bury trauma. Moving forward, because I don't want to spend a whole lot of time there. By the age of 12, I had been molested and raped 50 times. And nobody protected me. I did not know where my father was. My mom would just tell me, like, your daddy's in jail, period. Um, and when he was out, I went over to his house with his other baby mama. One time when he did get out, and he was very, very violently abusive to this lady. So much so that I tried to climb out the window and leave to go home, and he beat my butt. And so I didn't want really much to do with him anyways. But after that encounter, we would always just know, yeah, your dad's in prison. And so I didn't have a father. My mother would not allow me to call my grandmother whatsoever. She did not want my grandmother to know that all this stuff is popping off. Um, so we just dealing with it. And then my mother hooked up with the wrong friends. We going from house to house. We trying to get our own place, get on our feet. We limited because we on welfare. And we're living with these different people. And, my mom was partying and doing her thing. But as a child, because I was a very wise child, I always knew something was wrong. Something was just different. So I would always ask my mom, like, is everything okay? Girl, everything is fine. Y'all go outside. Y'all go outside while we in here doing our thing. And by her sending us outside, I was molested by the landlord. I was molested by the resident that lived 2 doors down. This man had a whole mental illness. And when he molested me for a very long time. In a threatening manner. I'm going to kill your mama and them if you say something. And to the point that I lost my mind, like at the age of 10. I was hospitalized for 30 days. They did not know what was going on with me. Whenever I seen the color of green, I would just run, whether that was in the street, whether there was cars coming, whether somebody had a green shirt on, whether I was walking down the street seeing green grass, because this is what this man had on every time he touched me inappropriately. But it was deeper than that. This man has some mental illness. He has some demons. And I'm not calling anybody with a mental illness a demon. I'm calling the spirit what it is. He has some demons that had attached themselves to me through touch, because now I started seeing monsters, and now I started seeing apes and things chasing me and stuff like that. And so my mother took me to the hospital, and they wanted to lock me up in a mental institution at the age of like 8, between 8 and 10. But because I was so wise, it was like, how could she be so wise and have a mental illness? So they did spinal taps, they did all kind of stuff on me, only to prove wasn't nothing wrong with me. I had held so much trauma in, on top of whatever was on him, that I began to just like hallucinate. And I remember calling the police. Finally, I told the people at the hospital, because I wanted to go home. It was like, what is it? You're very smart. You're very wise. What's going on? They befriended me to just start opening up and talking. And so I let them know, like, the dude at my apartment complex have been molesting me and saying he's going to kill my family. He tried to throw my brother off of a boat. He took us to a camping trip, tried to throw my brother off of a boat, told me if I ever told anybody, I'm terrified. The landlord at this apartment complex, we're cleaning the property for them. He's paying all the other kids $5. My mother is poor, so she can't give us allowance. We won't now later, so we start cleaning up the property complex. And he would give everybody else their money and make me come in his house with his wife, and tongue kiss him and him feel on me for him to give me my money. And I knew that it was wrong. I absolutely knew that it was wrong and it was disgusting. But I was so terrified to say anything because I was threatened. And so I opened up and I told the hospital, and they called the police. My mama came and picked me up. Police met me out at the apartment complex to make the arrest. They went over there and talked to him. And I don't know what he told them, but the police came back to my mama. Woo. Okay. Give me a second. Told y'all. I don't know why I sat down here and I didn't bring my tissue. Ooh, y'all, give me a second. Am I going to be able to get through this? So the police walks back over there to where me and my mom was at, and they was like, look, here's $5. Take your daughter to Burger King, get her a Happy Meal. This was probably just made up in her mind. And I just remember in that moment, feeling like, like there is nobody that's going to take care of me. Like there is nobody that's actually going to protect me. Not my mama, not my dad, not the police. And at that moment, I decided to become a murderer, like straight up. I remember that I was very angry at God because I didn't understand, why would you allow me? And I haven't gotten to all the other stuff. I'm just telling y'all the accelerated version. Why would you allow me to go through such suffering? I just didn't understand it. How could a person be born? And I never did anything to anybody and go through this much suffering, And I just remember I'm a vow to myself. If ain't nobody else gonna protect me, I'm gonna protect me. And that was not the person that I was. Since a child, I've always been a caring person, always been a loving person, always been a genuine person. All I wanted growing up was my mama. That's it. I wanted to be with my mama. There was no wrong that my mama could do. I wanted to make sure I took care of her. And the house being cleaned, I make sure I can assist in any kind of way. That's all I wanted. I just wanted my mom. I didn't know my father like that. I just wanted my mom. And, you know, these things happen. And there was other things fighting for my mother's attention. And so I'm like, how could you be born and just suffer so much? So I remember that I vowed that I'm going to kill anybody who touched me. I'm going to defend my own self. Um, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I just vow that nobody else will ever hurt me, period. And from that day forward, it's like my life just really became a living hell, for real. I joined gangs. I was very angry. And I took out my anger on a lot of people. I did a lot of things that I am not proud of. I hurt a lot of people, innocent people, that didn't do anything to me. I remember at the age of 12, I was drinking Cisco. Orange Cisco was my drink. And I would drink that drink and I would beat people up in a rage, in a fit of rage. Um, there was times that I fought trains, moving trains, fought them, punching on them, screaming, just in rage, walking around my city, nowhere to go, sleeping in hospitals. Um, my home just was not safe for the simple fact that um, my mother's boyfriend was, epilet, epileptic, epileptic. He had epilepsy, and he did a lot of drugs. A lot of drugs. He did so much drugs that it would make him have seizures. And then when he had seizures, he would beat up my mama. And I couldn't discern whether he was really trying to hurt her or was he really having a seizure, because he would hurt my mother and he would beat my mother in front of me and in front of my brother, and he would beat my brother, and he would start fights with my brother, and my mother was afraid of him, didn't know how to get rid of him. He would sell everything in our house. When I say anything, the roll of tissue got sold for dope. The silverware, we didn't have silverware, we didn't have clothes, we didn't have anything. If we got anything, he took it and he sold it. If my mother snuck and bought us some clothes so we would stop being bullied at school, he would take it and he would sell it. We had men running up in our house, taking stuff out of our house whenever he owed them money, beating them up. It was just very traumatic for a child. Christmas was never a thing. We didn't have Christmas. We watched all of our other relatives open up Christmas presents. My mama could barely afford to keep a roof over our head. I remember hating poverty so bad because it brought a lot of pain in my life. There was nowhere that I could escape from pain. Pain at home, pain at school. They laughing at my hair. They laughing at my shoes. They laughing at my clothes. They laughing at the way I smelled. Just bullied. Then around the complex, I want to go outside and play with the complex. I'm a sex magnet. So there was nowhere to escape pain outside of when I joined gangs. And then I started doing, as initiations. I had to do certain things, like I said, that I'm not proud of. Fighting people, beating up people, harming people, robbing people. That was my first charge as a juvenile. Strong arm robbery on an ice cream man. And then, it's like, well, I'm not going back home because I got that situation. So then I start sleeping over some of my schoolmates' friends' houses whose mothers was on drugs. And all of her uncles touched me. I lost my virginity to a 30-year-old man that I don't have a clue who he is. Just because I call her my cousin because we grew up. She took me into her house. Just because she was promiscuous and her mama had a rule: if you leave together, you better come back in here together. I don't care where y'all go, but if you leave together, you better come together. So she would go out and hook up with these men, be like, yeah, I got a cousin that's with me, bring a friend, and got raped by a whole grown man. You know what I'm saying? And got raped by an uncle, got raped by another uncle. And it just kept on happening. It kept on happening because I'm out there in the streets. It just kept on happening. My first 5 children are a product of rape. And I asked 4 children when I was 13. I remember walking down an alley. There was some Hispanic men whistling at me. I did get in trouble in school because I got tired of being bullied. So my mom was like, you just rebellious. You just won't stop. And I'm like, no, I'm defending myself. You just won't shut up. You always got to say something back. I'm just defending myself. They was talking about you. No, I don't want to hear that because these people keep calling me. I never had a graduation. As smart as I was. I never had a birthday party. I didn't know what that was. Well, what is a birthday party? I didn't get a birthday party. I didn't get it. I didn't graduate. None of my graduation. I think the only graduation I had was from kindergarten. Ooh. And that alone traumatized me because I was very smart. Very, very, very smart. Did all my work. You didn't have to tell me to do my homework. And I didn't get a graduation because I was always defending myself. I always had to defend myself for no reason of my own. And I remember just walking home one day in an alley where there was some Hispanic men chasing me, whistling at me. And I was like, Father, if you give me children, because I don't know what love is. And if one thing you can give me is love, if you got to give me children, give me children. I just want to know what love is. What is love? I want to be loved. And I promise you that if you give me these children, I will take care of these children. And I will raise these children and I will love them. And I will never, ever allow anything that has happened to me to happen to my children. I prayed this prayer at 13. I got raped again at 15, like a little bit before my 16th birthday, or either like right at the end of my 15th year. I'm finna take this eyelash off, y'all, because it's up in my eye. And I had my daughter when I was 16. I had no place to stay. I was homeless. I was living over another woman's house. And my daughter's father came in and did what he did to me, and I got pregnant. And by this time, I'm numb to rape. I'm numb to molestation. This is my lot in life. I'm not going to say nothing because I ain't got nowhere to stay. Hold on, y'all, because I hear my son in there crying. Come here, Redeem. One second. Come here, Redeem. Honey Buns. Hold on, y'all, because they gonna act like they don't hear me. Redeem. Come here now. This whole house about to go up in smoke, okay? About my baby. So y'all gonna have to hold on. Marcus. What happened to my kid?
You running from me now playing with my keys and slipped on the ankle?
Is he okay?
I wasn't doing nothing, changing leg.
Hold on. Well, Father, I just thank you that whatever happened in there will redeem. That he did not sustain any injuries whatsoever. I pray and I thank you for healing his complete ankle or leg or whatever it is that he injured in there, Father God. And I just give you praise, honor, and glory for his healing. I thank you, Father, that you would teach him to quit playing so much, that life is not a game, and to be very careful when playing with his uncle, who is a grown man. So, Father, I just thank you. I praise you. No injuries whatsoever, and that you will completely heal whatever is aching or hurting on Redeem's body. For this, I give you praise in the mighty and majestic name of Yeshua HaMashiach. I thank you and amen. All right, y'all. So I'm going to wrap this up a little bit. It's a lot. I guess I'm going to start a storytelling channel. But I did pray for children, and then I had them in a way that I didn't expect to have them. And because I was homeless and sleeping in and out of hospitals and carjacking folks and all of that, I ended up living with my rapist mother. His mother was like, I'm sorry that he did this to you. But I'll do whatever I have to. And she did. Hands down, she did. She made sure I was off the street. She made sure I had a home. But he was abusive because he expected me to like him, and he was a rapist. No, I had animosity towards you. Like, you took something from me I can never get back. Love my child. Thank God for my child, because now I get to know love in a different way. However, I don't want you, and was very, very abusive. I'm young, 16, and he's abusing me. After I have this child, I don't even think my 6 weeks was up before I went to sleep, put my baby to sleep, and he did the same thing. Same thing he did the first time. And I was not intimate with him during my pregnancy because you a whole rapist, like, period. And that's where a lot of our fights come in at. I remember being pregnant and there was a serial killer that stayed next door to us. I walked to the store to give me something to eat. He done locked me up in his house. Invited me to come up in there, and the dude wouldn't even do nothing. Like, he was scared of men, but he would beat on women. The dude wouldn't even do nothing to get me out of the man's house. I had to say, hey, look, I got to go next door. I got to really use the bathroom, and I'll just be right back. Okay, I will be right back. I need to go grab something over there. Like, I'm not feeling too good. I'm 6-7 months pregnant. And a week later, he killed another woman. Locked up now, but he was a serial murderer. And I could have been dead, but this dude, I mean, he would not fight dudes. Still known to this day. He would fight women, put his hands on me. And because I lived in his mama house, his mom was like, if you put a hand back on my son, I'm going to be the last person throwing licks. So now I'm just controlled. It's like, you take it because you don't have anything else. Once I had my daughter, I went and signed up for welfare. They gave me homeless assistance. That was my door into getting my own place. Because now I got a child and another one on the way. Second time being raped by the same dude. And I got another one on the way. My children are 11 months apart. So they both be 25 together, 26 together, 27 together. And then I got my own place, followed me. They called the CPS on me. They did the whole 9 yards upon me. I already prayed that you good. So you 100% good. Shut the door. I need you to understand. Stop playing so much, okay? Yeah. Sometimes you will get hurt while you playing sports, anything. But sometimes stop playing so much because you already know if you fall the wrong way, you're going to be hollering. You need a hug? Okay, you good? You can walk, all of that. Walk the right way. I already covered you in prayer, so you 100% good. I know that for a fact. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Come on. This is my big baby right here, y'all. This is my best friend. Straight up. I'll be out in just a minute. Yeah, that's my best friend. I prayed for that kid. I prayed and waited for that kid. That's my best friend. But after all of that, I'm pregnant with the second baby. I don't even know if I'm willing to share how I got pregnant by another rapist with a third baby tonight. I don't think I want to share that at this moment. Nevertheless, my first 5 children are a product of me being taken advantage of. So I'm on welfare, got these kids, like I'm the talk of the town. Tawanna's having all these kids. Yeah, but y'all don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You really don't understand how I got these kids. She ain't gonna never be nothing. She ain't gonna be this. We were poor. I really didn't have a lot of money to take care of the kids, but I vowed to God, if you gave me children, I would take care of them. And I wasn't going to go abort them. I did have some abortions, and I felt extremely guilty for aborting 3 children. I would be the mother of about 12 children now. And I did abort these children. And I felt really guilty. It's like every single time I went to the abortion clinic, there was somebody, standing there getting into my spirit and not into my head. And so I vowed, if you let me live, because I almost didn't make it out of either of them abortions. I seen women who didn't make it out. And I almost didn't make it out. I almost didn't wake up. The pain that you endure after you abort a baby, like, I vowed on the last one, like, I'm not going to have no more abortions. I'm just not going to have any more. And so my oldest son was a product of rape for 6 months. I contemplated aborting him. And the power of the spirit of the living God would let me. He said, I want you to listen to this song every single day until it was too late to get an abortion. And that's that song, Open Up My Heart to You by Yolanda Adams. I listened to that like it was air that I breathed. And that's the only reason why I did not get rid of my son. And he was the 5th child. You know, my boy that passed away was the only child after the 5 children that I actually participated willingly in going half on him, or whatever you want to call it. But his father was demonic, and his father was very abusive. All of these dudes, after they raped me, abused me to the point to where I had to stab them. I had to fight them because I grew up seeing it. I grew up seeing my mama get hands put on her. I grew up seeing my grandmother get hands put on her. And so it was like the buck stops here. And when I decided to stand up for myself, it's like, oh, you think you a man? So I'm going to fight you like a man. And so all of them, every single last one of them put their hands on me. But this one took it to a whole nother level. Like a whole nother level. This man beat me with bats while I was pregnant. Had folks watching me. I was shot at several times. I couldn't leave. The police wouldn't help me. It's like you're a mother with 6 children at this point. There's no shelter that would take you. I had to end up leaving a whole complete city and moving to another city to get out of this very, very, very abusive, narcissistic relationship. With 6 children with backpacks on my back, nowhere to go. We slept on the grass in a different city. We went to a shelter, and the shelter was not what they, promoted it to be. They was taking money all in the name of Christ and treating the people horrible. Showering while men's was in there, the whole 9 yards. I had daughters. My whole life consisted of rape and molestation. It was not going down on my watch. And then we had to get up every morning. If we did get a bed there at the night to sleep, we had to get up every morning about 4:30 and then go walk around, sleep on the grass, lay on the grass. We did that for quite some time. Very, very, very poor. I didn't know how I was going to take care of them many of days. I remember walking all my children to the CPS and saying I vowed that I would never, ever give up on these children, but I don't have a roof over my head. I don't have food to eat. I have nowhere for them to go. And I would like for my children to have at least a warm place to stay. And they told me, them is your kids and your problem. And we will not take them. So back to the streets we went for a while until God allowed this African man who I did not know to see me and my children ride in a bus and just come over and start a conversation and ask me, like, what's the situation? And I told him, like, I'm homeless. He was like, I got a house. You can go move him right now. Get you and your kids. It ain't got no electricity in it, so it's going to be cold. And so he let me move in his place. I was able to get Section 8, still in poverty. But I was able to get off the grass. And because I was in such poverty, my children, same exact pattern. They getting bullied at school. You know what I'm saying? They getting talked about. They got to fight, defend themselves. It's 6 of them. They're all rotating the same clothes. I went to school, whatever financial aid money that I did get, I took my kids to go get clothes and stuff every other 3-6 months whenever financial aid check came out, because welfare was not giving me enough. But they suffered. They absolutely suffered. And I watched them suffer, and I had to go down every year to the county building and sit in there in tears, just knowing that this could not be my life. This is not my portion of everything I see my mama going through. Like, I'm going through. And this could not be my portion. lying on this application. This could just not be my portion. It's not even enough. I always felt like that, but I could never come out because I was so paralyzed by fear and trauma and all this other stuff. All of the stuff that happened in my life that y'all don't even know about. This is just a snippet. I've been on here an hour talking, so I'm going to wrap it up here. But it was not until I lost my son due to my impoverishment, due to my poverty. Like, that was the biggest loss that I've ever endured. Everything else in times past was a loss. I lost the ability to have a family. I lost the ability to have normality. I lost all of that. But the greatest loss and the last loss that I was willing to lose was my kid. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how I got them, regardless of how God gave them to me, I vowed to take care of them babies. And damn it, I did everything to take care of my children. There were many of days that I did not eat so that they could eat. There was many of years that I wore the same undergarments. Were they clean? Yes. Were they holy? Yes, because I washed them out religiously. But going to go buy me bras and panties was not a thing. Everything that I had went to them. Everything. So to go that hard to make sure that, your children don't deal with half of the stuff. Yeah, did they deal with the poverty? Yeah, but all that other stuff, no, I wasn't going down on my watch. My children spending the night at people's house, that wasn't possible. Because I had to watch them. Because I didn't have nobody watching me. And that was a loss that, they knew this woman is poor with all them kids. And son can't sit still. And all he wanted to do was be fresh. He didn't have a lot of clothes to be fresh. So he seen, other boys going to school with Jordans. Whew. This kid just wanted to be dressed fresh. He just wanted to look nice. So he would spend his days in his class, fixing and adjusting, straightening his shoes. And he has ADHD. He cannot sit still to do his work. He would still come in and steal our socks, steal his brother's clothes, just to put together outfits just to be fresh. Because that's all he wanted. He loved fashion. And he wanted to be fresh. He wanted his belt to match. And so that's how they ended up putting him up on pills. Because he didn't want to go in there and do math and learn about Christopher Columbus. He actually wanted to draw shoes. This boy drew the image for Nike, and Nike accepted the image. He won because he freestyled it. He was an artist. He loved fashion. And because he wasn't attentive to their type of, lectures, they deemed him ADHD. I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with my son. Because it ain't. Boy's smart. Boy can dance to anything, just like his mama. I don't care what kind of beats you drop. It's on and popping. This boy could dance, do some crazy, them type of people that be like flexing their hands and, I think it's called like torting, but he ain't all like that with his bones and stuff pop out, but he could just do anything. He's a very special kid, very special kid. And they like, no, we need something to set him down and dope my boy up. I'm like, nah, we don't do medicines. They're like, oh, okay, fine. 2 days later, here comes CPS. Now they came out for that. It's like, we will put you in jail for medical neglect because we haven't medically diagnosed him with having ADHD. And you also run the risk of getting your other children taken. They came in my house for hours and questioned all my children. Then after they left, I'm like, look, you can give it to him Monday through Friday because he don't need no pills here. I'm not going to jail and I'm not losing my children. So I will agree for him to have it Monday through Friday, and that is it. And so it was like, okay, and the stipulations is going to be you have to get him blood tested every 30 days to ensure this medication is in his system, or we will be back out. And I had to do that for almost up to 6 months before they closed the case. Same medicine that killed my child. Like took a whole entire human being out of existence. Because I was simply just too poor to say, look, I'm finna put my kid in a school that's gonna cater to his learning needs. I didn't have no other choice but public school, and every public school I went to got his records and his transcripts from the previous school. Oh yeah, he ADHD, ODD. So it wasn't no putting him in private school. I couldn't afford it. I barely could afford them clothes. They got clothes every 3 months. When I could afford it now, I would go big. If I got a $2,000 check, y'all got 19,000 of that. Y'all gonna make that work, and y'all gonna share all these clothes and rotate. So they wasn't walking around looking like, bums, but they were bullied because they're like, didn't your sister just have that on yesterday? Because they all stair step, 12, 11, 10, 9, they all stair step. And that was the last loss that I was willing to lose. That was the day that I'm like, I'm done with poverty. This is a spirit that has come to steal, kill, and destroy my whole entire life. It stole everything from me. It stole my childhood. The dreams that I had. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a lot of things. Stole all of those dreams. Stole from my children. I'm still in damage control mode, giving them the better life that they should have had as a child, because the enemy knows if I can come in and jack you up as a child, your whole entire life will be jacked up. And that is why most traumatic things happen to children at an early age, because that devil know if I can get them while they're young. That's why you see most people going after children, libs, all these crazy folks wanting to introduce them to stuff like sexual activities. Why? It's not just because they wake up and they're like turned on and shit. No, that's a demonic agenda. Period. It's to mess the child up for life. And that was the day that Dr. T said enough is enough. And I have been fighting hard ever since. I refused to get in my bed and lay down. I refused to just say that's going to be another child. It just said, no, I refuse that. I refuse that my grandchildren and my other children will ever have to go through that. I refuse. So every day that you see me, whenever you see me, I'm showing up on purpose. I'm showing up to help you change your situation. If I had to go through that, I'm going to be the one willing enough to help others out, because that's the only thing that I want. I don't ever want anybody to experience the pain that I have had to experience, the sacrifices that I have had to make to get to this point today. Still painful. A lot of painful memories. But I'm still standing. And I still show up to fight for you and to fight with you. Because I don't ever want nobody to feel this. If you are feeling any kind of pain, I want to be some peace to your pain. I don't just show up as another businesswoman. I show up on a mission. I show up to change lives. That's what set me apart from everybody else. And the only reason why you're going to pay me is for my time. Because I value time. It's the greatest gift that we ever have been given. Ever. And that's something that we're not in control of. If all I was purposed, it's 45 years in the earth. I'm 43, almost 44. So I don't have time to waste. We are told to be found redeeming the time, buying back your time, by all means necessary, for the days are evil. I don't know how much time I got allotted in the earth. So that's the only reason why you're going to pay me is for my time, the time that I got to take away from my family, the time that I got to, miss with my children that I can't ever get back, with my husband that I can't ever get back, with myself, with my God that I can't ever get back to assist you. That's the only reason why you're going to pay me. But outside of that, I'm here to change lives and set captives free, period. I am here to get you out of pain because I know what pain is. I know what poverty is. I know what it could do. I know what it has done. It's very destructive. So before I go, is there any questions that anybody want to ask me? Any feedback? Anything before I go? I feel led to come by here and tell y'all my why. Who is Dr. T? Because it's easy to see people and judge. And I don't know about her. And I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know. And that's cool. But I want you to know when I show up, I'm showing all the way up. I'm showing up to change your life. I'm not showing up to babysit you. I'm not showing up to play games with you. I would ride with you. I would cry with you. But we got to get up. And my mission and my job is to lead people into their financial promised land. Why did I have to be so broke? So I can hate it. So I can fulfill my purpose. Why did I have to suffer the way that I did? So I can carry others that are suffering. I understand now. Doesn't mean that I don't cry, but I understand. I wouldn't take anything back. I wouldn't trade anything because it made me who I am. But you better understand when I show up, I'm showing up for you. This is not another business opportunity. I need to let y'all in on a secret. I don't even like doing business or running a business, but I did not call myself to do this. This is what he has called me to do. I got to let you feel what this feel like. I got to let you see what this see like. So you don't ever forget. And you show compassion to those who have gone through this for generations. I need to let this thing irritate you and make you so mad that when you feel like giving up, you'll still keep standing. It takes much courage to be so transparent. I love y'all. I don't mind sharing anything with y'all. Is it too late to get in the game of government contracts? It's only late because you ain't got started yet, okay? You can still get in. If y'all want to know where y'all money is to change your life, it's there. Get in and apply it. Don't sleep on it. It will change your life. And that's all I'm showing up, to be the light in darkness and to give hope to the hopeless and to let you know you ain't got to suffer unless you want to. If you do the work, gotta do the rest. Faith and works go hand in hand. And if you don't never try, you'll never know. And if you always stay afraid, you'll never grow. So I thank y'all for listening. I'm coming out now, you guys. Any programs that I have, you're very welcome, sister. I think I'm going to share a lot more. It's very therapeutic for me, um, but it's also helpful to others. And I have never, ever been afraid or ashamed to tell his story because it's not my story. When I made it not my story and made it his story, then I was never embarrassed to share. I'm coming right now. Okay, cool. I'm coming. Thank you, babe, for your support. You're amazing. Yeah. Um, but I'll tell y'all his story and how I was able to have babies by rapists. But then when I got married, I wasn't able to have babies. Suffered with infertility for 10 years. And that is why Redeem is my best friend. I wanted a second chance to be a mom. I wanted a second chance to have a covenantal marriage and children that was in covenant. That's what I really wanted. And he gave it to me. I waited for 10 years. I cried for 10 years. I suffered for 10 years. But he did that. Not only did he give me redeem, he gave me revelation and redemption as well. So my name is Dr. Hope Dilla. You understand? I come to deliver up some hope to y'all. I love y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. Have an amazing week with your family. I wanted to make sure that if I can come by here and serve anybody, let me serve you. It's my due diligence. It's my reasonable service. I don't want your money. I want your testimony. That's more important to me. Your money helped me continue to get information and education and transformation that I'm going to bring back to the tribe all day long. You got to pay for information, especially when you're dealing with these other cats. So instead of us all paying them, let one go in and pay them and come back and bring it to you, okay? That's the way that I look at it. And that's what I've been doing for the last several years. So I told y'all I got all their programs. I got all of their systems. I want to show you how to build you an online empire where you ain't never got to leave your home if you don't want to, unless it's to vacation or build you a house or whatever the case may be. We're done with all them slave wages and that slave labor. We are not slaves. We are kings and queens. And the only power that anybody, including the enemy, has had over us is financial acumen. We're not in a position to change our lives. We're tired of things, but we can't change them because we don't have the money to do them. We don't have the monies to move to another area, or we don't have the monies to do that, the resources. And that's a problem to me because being in that situation cost my son his life. Being in a situation where I didn't have enough to do what I needed to do, pay for the things that I wanted to pay for, give my children a life, and maybe even have them in a neighborhood where they could actually thrive and not die. I couldn't do that. Okay, so I told y'all I got all these programs, all these systems. And I do. Where I can show you, if you allow me to show you, how to pay yourself what you're worth. $10,000 clients, $20,000 clients for these programs and these systems that I have. You can make you a lot of money. I show you what to do during this Black Friday, Cyber Monday holiday season, how you can easily up to 30,000 plus within 1 month. I got the systems. You build the system out one time, it pays you for the rest of your life. Cause we ain't got all day. But what you build right now can not only fund your right now, it can fund your future. So if that day came and you are no longer existent in the earth, your family got something that you built for them. And even though you would be absent in this body, they will still feel your presence by what you built for them. That's how these wealthy people been doing it. That's it, and that's all. And then I got government contracts, because if you want to get to 1 million accelerated, then that's where you're going to go get your millions. You can make millions. It's all a number game. But if you just want to go get you millions, that's why all of us need to be in government contracting. Just think if all of us went in 200, 300 deep, game over. And I'm offering all three of them programs. Now check this out. My government contracting program is 5K. I didn't came out and said, look, I want to give it to y'all for a sale of $1,000. Especially if I'm really trying to grow the community, push the movement. It's not about money. Me learning government contracts, 15,000. 7,500 for a do-it-yourself course. That only had to lead me to another course for another 7,500. That would lead me to a $30,000 course to get the information. Okay, we ain't doing none of that. I'm gonna give you everything that they want, that they will not give you. I'm gonna give you everything that they will not give you until you get it, and I'm gonna walk with you and do it with you because I'm not above you. Okay, government contracting, all these storms, these emergencies, state of emergencies, you should be getting a lot of money. They have a lot of purchase orders where you ain't even got to be a federal contractor to get them paper and tissue and sanitary napkins and doorknobs and all of this stuff. So I usually sell these programs individually, 5K for the government contracting for my 0 to 100K in 90 days, guaranteed. I sold that for 1,000. And then for my systems, I sold that for 2,000. I'm gonna allow y'all, if y'all want to take advantage of it, I'm gonna offer y'all this offering. They want us to consume, and that's what the masses is doing. They flying and buying food and all of this to do the same old routine. I'm done with that. I'm building. Y'all go ahead and bull ass. I'm not. I'm building. I'm still doing my business. I spend time with my family every day. I don't need y'all little man-made holiday to come along for me to spend time with my family and then spend my resources and dump money into y'all communities and dump money into your own life while your families is living the life and I'm over here struggling after Thanksgiving. Screw you. That's the nice version. So I'm investing in my lineage. I'm not investing in electronics and all of this stuff that y'all want me to go crazy for. I'm not doing that. That thing bust, you got to buy another one. Okay. So I'm offering those three programs. Government contracting, all of them includes coaching, the community, and the curriculum. For me to coach you, it's way more than any of my programs ever costed for me to coach you. But I'm showing up to coach you to make sure I'm holding your hand. I'm not babysitting you. I'm holding your hand. I'm showing you the way. All three of those programs, I'm offering it. All three of those programs for $1,000. Instead of offering, that's my Black Friday sale. Black Friday, if you knew the origins of Black Friday, you wouldn't participate in it. But if you want to put a name on something, that's my Black Friday sale. It's my liberation sale. See, Black Friday originated from you selling Black folks. We're getting Black folks and all folks free on this Black Friday on my watch. So I'm offering those programs. All three of those programs as a special for 1K investment. If you didn't get them on special, you would have to pay me either 1K up to 5K individually. But again, it is mission over money. And I would rather take you so we can go get more money together so we can do bigger things, better things in the time allotted that we need to. Okay? We're running out of time. There's only a window of opportunity. And right around January, first quarter, they didn't already prepare for it. We're preparing for it. That's when stuff is really about to hit the fan. And I don't want none of my people. I don't care if you brown, crayon, color, tan. I don't want none of us to keep on falling victim to this. Government contracting ain't going nowhere. Ever. Unless the Most High say something. That's the only time it's going somewhere. It ain't been going nowhere. I got a clip in it, Dr. Martin Luther King going in and talking about government contracts and how they were able to build using government contracts. Right now, I got a whole entire clipping. I'm just waiting to play it whenever he releases me to play it. But I was just taken aback, like, wow, because I always felt like This is the assignment that he has given me. Something along those lines. Now, am I comparing myself to Dr. Martin Luther King? Nope. But I know we have similar callings. His call was to lead those people in the 1960s. My call is to lead my people in the 2020s. Okay. But without saying a whole bunch of stuff, it's doing the same type of work that he did. And this is where we're going to get all of that stuff that we need accelerated. I promise y'all. I promise y'all. Let me see if this thing is still up. Hold on. I want y'all to see something real quick. And my husband going to be like, you need to come up out of that room. Here we go, right here. Let's see if I can. Your session is either timed out. Okay, cool. Please continue. Let's see if my husband can. Oh, man. My husband have to log in. Oh, maybe he's logged. Hold on. Maybe his stuff is saved. I hope it is so y'all can see this real quick. Okay. I was able to get in. Let me show y'all something real fast. Where we at? Where we at? Is this it? And then let me make sure y'all can see my screen real quick. Hopefully my husband information ain't showing. Okay. Right here. If I wanted to come and just click on what was posted today, 83 opportunities was posted today. They need some blankets. They need some hygiene kits. Let me click on this and see how much they paying for hygiene kits. I'm just trying to see where is the number. They want some personal toiletry articles. Okay, here we go. They want 3,000 of these. Y'all see this $8.5 million for this NACE code for you to be able to do this. And this is at Customs and Border Protection that they need personal toiletries, hygiene kits. This NACE code is $8.5 million to deliver them some freaking sanitary napkins or some hygiene, some toiletries. They want mannequins. These all popped up today. Home appliances, Disney television purchase. They want some athletic recovery chairs. Look, do you know you can go find these anywhere? Don't think that the government buy gold chains. They are buying gold chains. They have a bid up here for clothing, individual equipment, and insignia. Okay, jewelry and silverware manufacturing. Small business, the set aside requirement means it's for a minority or small business, disadvantaged business. The purpose of this repost of the gold chains is to upload new pictures of the gold chains. They are looking for somebody to get them some gold. How many? 1,500 gold chains. Y'all don't think we can't go get this money? This is in New York. I would have to click on all of these solicitations and see how much they are giving away for this bid. I'm sure it's in here somewhere, somehow. But it's just really simply doing research. What they want. How many hours I got left to bid on it. Then let me go tell them, hey, I'll charge you, $250,000. Tuna fish. Y'all thought I was lying. The Department of Justice is looking for some tuna fish. Beef patties, some hamburger patties by the pounds. They're looking for 6 per case cans of tuna fish. Trying to see if. Also set aside, yes, for minorities, small business, disadvantaged, veteran-owned business. If you Black, if you a minority, they want to give it to you first. This is a whole marketplace just full of money for you. Chicken leg quarters, chicken patties by the pound, roast beef, ground beef. Do y'all see this? This is what the government wants. And that goes on page to page to page. They looking for vehicles. Taco seasoning. Do y'all see this? Tomato paste, tomato diced, vanilla flavoring, vinegar, biscuits, eggs. This is the Department of Justice looking for food. Yeah. They need 21,600 dozens of eggs. This is going to be a big one. I'm telling y'all. Let me stop this here because I should have been and gone. Do y'all see all that money that's available that you ain't taking advantage of? Y'all talk back to me. I'm going to give you action to make you $1 million for $1,000 investment. Where they do that at? On top of my other programs. I don't care if you don't know how to do it. I'm here to teach you how to do it. All you got to do is show up. So with that being said, y'all, I'm gone. That's my why. That's what I named this video. This is my why. Now, hopefully you understand why I show up, why I do what I do, who I am. If you are interested in taking advantage of the opportunity, forget giving your money to Santa Claus, forget giving your money to the turkey gobbler, forget giving your money to big business, okay? Invest your money in you and your family. Do something today that's going to benefit them tomorrow. And you have the opportunity to do so because God created me, put me in this earth, had me go through what I went through, not just to tell some sad story, but to actually be an advocate for others. No, there's no additional fees. Ain't no monthly fees. It's a once and done thing. If you don't jump on it now, you have to pay for each program later on at the price. What I will say is I'm pushing these products. It's fourth quarter. You see all of those that just came out today. That's 83 that just came out today. I didn't include them what came out yesterday. This database is so big, you can actually land. You can go make you $1 million with 4 contracts. Easy. And in the month of December, I am not going to be advertising my programs. Why? Because my website, everything is being upgraded to reflect my new premium prices, all of that. Because now I've served for these last 3 years. Now I'm doing business. You're going to pay me exactly what I want to be paid to show up. So if you want to get in now, get in now. Not here to beg you, just here to give you an opportunity. You want to get in now, get in now. There's no additional fees. There's no monthly payments. It's a once and a done thing. If you are interested, please email me. The email is going across the screen. If you are not, can't say you didn't have an opportunity to change your financial forecast. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and go because I know my children are in here wearing my husband out. I've been here for about 1 hour and 35 minutes. Again, my email is going across the screen, and I also have it here in the corner. Okay? tjtworlds@yahoo.com. I might only take a few, maybe because I offered this sale a couple of days ago. So maybe 3 or 4 of y'all. Y'all want to go take advantage. When I actually started investing in myself, that's when God gave me more money to invest. He gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. As long as I held on to it, I couldn't hold on to any of it. But when I started investing in myself, when I was really tired of poverty and started doing the things that was going to get me out, then he was able to give me more. And that's what I'm here for. I love y'all. And thank you guys for tapping in with me on tonight. Stay tuned. I am going to be storytelling a whole lot more. If I don't do anything else, but just give you a different perspective, inspire you to share your truth, inspire you to share your story, then my job has been done. Right? With that being said, I love y'all and have a good night.